My name is Rachana Mehta and I'm Regional Co-Head of Fixed Income at Maybank Asset Management. Maybe over the last 15 years, I decided to move from prop to asset management and that's where I ended up with Maybank Asset Management. We've seen a lot of trends, especially over the last 3-4 years when the COVID started. Initially, if you look at it, most of the market makers were bank market makers. But recently, over the last couple of years, with the outbreak of COVID, a lot of people had to work from home. So there were a lot of other private players started coming into the market. There were more and more platforms apart from the bank market makers where you could directly deal with them. So platform like Market Access, SGX, TradeWeb. So I think we have seen a lot of changes. But in terms of liquidity, I still believe we are not there. I think the Asian credit market is still not very liquid and is not easy to find liquidity, especially when everybody is buying, there is no liquidity, and when everybody is selling, there is no liquidity. So you really have to have more and more channels for liquidity to add alpha to the portfolio. Otherwise, it becomes very, very difficult if you are trading Asian credits. I don't think so. It has led to more instability in the FX or FI market. Especially for FX market, I think it is very commoditized market. So I don't see much impact on the FX market. On the FI market, in fact, I think it is better because generally a lot of dealers' balance sheets are being slashed because of compliance and risk management. So as non-bank market maker took that slack, in fact, it's better for end investors like us or managing funds like us because the bank market makers are not taking enough risk. We have non-bank market makers stepping up to take that risk, correct, and warehousing. So I think it is better. I don't think so. It's reduced the ability for bank market makers to warehouse. I think they will continue to warehouse, but at least they have more competition from non-bank market makers. And I think it's still better for individual investors or people like institutional investors because they have best of both worlds. Yes, especially compliance is a very big important issue going forward with more and more regulatory requirement. I think our compliance worldwide has become a key factor. For example, when you are evaluating all these non-bank market makers, we need to do KYC, we need to do due diligence, we need to make sure they are all like anti-money laundering and all the policies are actually accepted and they really follow the same policy as we follow. Otherwise, it's not easy. So I think going forward, compliance is becoming a bigger, important requirement. If I need to trade with non-bank market makers, I want to make sure the AML and the compliance policy they follow is similar to us or stricter than us. Actually, for me, this is my favorite topic, especially if you are trading Asian fixed income. I think portfolio construction is very, very important. And I'll tell you why it is important. First of all, you know that Asian, whether it's local markets or credit markets, are very, very illiquid. So when you are constructing a model portfolio, you have to be very, very careful. So for example, if I'm constructing a model portfolio, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to break down into investment grade bonds and high yield bonds. And within the investment grade bonds, I would make sure that I will look at the issue size, I will look at a different country and which bonds are more liquid. So when you are constructing a portfolio, I will tell the clients or the end investor to make sure that the liquidity is always there because when you want to get out, you may not be able to get out. So the construction of the portfolio becomes a key to add alpha to the portfolio. So for example, initially, if you look at most of the mutual funds, generally they say single issuer you can buy 10%. But gone are the days where you can really buy 10% of a single issue because the liquidity is not there. As you said, bank market makers are not able to warehouse the risk and they are not able to make markets for such big sizes. So for example, for me, like any issue, you shouldn't buy more than 1 to 2% of the portfolio because when you want to get out, it's very, very easy to get out. You can buy 3 to 4% of an issue only when you are very confident that it's very easy to get out and it's a very high grade bonds where market makers are willing to take that risk. So for me, constructing a portfolio, you want to make sure that any high bonds don't have more than 1 to 2% of the portfolio and any IG bond maximum 3 to 4% because then it is very easy to add alpha to the portfolio. The moment you take constant bets, given the illiquidity of the Asian credits, and recently we saw what happened to the China property sector and China IG market. And let's be honest, over the next 10 years, we're looking at a lot of geopolitical risk. We are looking at a lot of regulation risk. So I think the construction of the portfolio is a very key ingredient for any fixed income Asian asset manager to add alpha. I think the policymakers can do a lot of things, especially given that market volatility is increased. First of all, I think for local bond, so I will split it into two markets. One is local bonds and one is Asian credits. For local bonds, I think if you look at in 1997, the financial crisis happened because there was not a local bond market at all. So I think Asian central banks have done a very good job of developing their own local bond market so that they don't have to rely on the dollar bond market. So otherwise, they may face a currency crisis. But for example, for local bond market, actually, I believe that all central banks should make sure that they have a proper curve. So starting from 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year and 30 years. And whenever they come out with issues, they have to make sure that they issue the same bond, correct? So that you have a proper curve. The liquidity of each of this bond, like 5 year, 10 year, increases simultaneously. So it's easy for us to trade those markets. And the second important thing is repo market. Currently, there is no repo market in the local bonds. So I think a central bank initiative or at least regulatory initiative should be there. So there's a well-developed repo market. A couple of things. This time, I think the summit is much better in the sense there is a wide variety of speakers out there, and I think there were the emphasis on technology and innovation this year has played a very important role, which is very right because we are all moving towards digitalization. So I think I really like that they have brought diverse players for this particular summit, and I think one important thing I've seen is more women participation, and going forward I would like FX and FI summit to have more women participation.